I want to give a shout out to Tyler Oliveira, who did his own expose, following the people around in their community. Well, it turns out that there is a village in New York, and I believe the name is going to scroll because I don't want to mispronounce it. 44,000 super religious Zionist Jews live in this community. Here we go.
For Hamas?
I don't want my kids to play in the house of a secular guy.
This is Curious Joel.
You're a Yiddish.
A village of 44,000 Hasidic Jews in upstate New York that primarily speak Yiddish, have an average of 7 kids per family. How many kids do most people have out here?
17, 18.
How do they...
Okay, can we just start right off the bat with this idea that 17, 18 kids, when you consider the problems we have in this country with resources and the inevitable problems that will continue to occur as a result? First of all, this is why I am such an adamant believer in the separation of church and state. If you want kids, there has to be a cap of some kind. 17, 18 kids, and they get to live on welfare? No. Can't have it. And nor should anybody accept it. That is not anybody else's responsibility but yours. But as we know, different rules for thee. They get away with it because they're protected financially as a result.
17, 18 kids. It's one of the poorest towns in America, with 40% living beneath the federal poverty line. Many men here are religiously studying the Torah full-time and heavily rely on public assistance and welfare in the form of Medicaid, housing vouchers, food stamps, and cash aid to support their giant families that God commanded them to have. And the village enforces strict gender roles, modest dress codes, and sends their kids to private religious schools. And why is it okay for Jewish people to live together in a homogenous Jew-only community, but it's illegal when white people try to build their own? I pulled up to Curious Joel myself to see what's going on. Welcome to Curious Joel, a traditional community of modesty and values. In keeping with our traditions and religious customs, we kindly ask that you dress and behave in a modest way while visiting our community. This includes wearing long skirts or pants, covered necklines, sleeves past the elbow, use appropriate language, maintain gender separation in all public areas. Thank you for respecting our values. Let's pop in here and say shalom. Lots of people praying. Hi, shalom. Okay, so it says entrance for members only. Not sure what it takes to be a member. What does it take to be a member? Do I have to be a Jewish to enter? Okay, I'm not sure. I'm not sure the schedule exactly, but 9 o'clock sharp, they're not at work. What is this? Okay, so I guess everyone's praying right now. So you gotta wonder what these people do for employment. You'll notice the Mexicans out here are doing the hard labor, and the Jewish people, I'm not sure what they do. Maybe we can ask this guy. Excuse me, what do most people do for work out here? You don't know? All right, cold shoulder. Question for you, sir. How long do people pray per day?
Maybe this hour.
Okay, what do people do for work?
I'm not a news reporter. You have to...
Okay, what do you do for work? Okay, you don't want to talk? How many hours a day do they pray?
3 hours a day.
Do people have 9 to 5s?
Yes.
Like what industries are they involved in here?
Construction or other type of industries.
But we actually just do the paperwork. We don't actually get our hands dirty. Well, you know the reason. I'm just pointing that out.
What do you do?
I'm a student, and also I'm doing home care.
What are you studying?
I'm studying Torah.
Torah?
Yes.
How old are you?
Our holy Torah.
And who pays for education?
I try to work on overtime.
Overtime?
Yes.
Where do you work overtime?
I work home care.
Home care?
Night, yes.
Is it like, do you have kids?
I have kids, yes.
How many kids?
3.
How do you afford to raise 3 kids while being a student?
Because I work very hard. I want to study the Torah. I'm very proud.
How do you afford to study the Torah, though?
God help me.
Does the American taxpayer help you, too?
Also, yes.
Yeah.
So in other words, yes, they do in a very substantial way. So to me, it's actually pretty simple. The reason this happens and the reason they're able to get away with this is because it's kind of like a voting block. And in many ways, if one side of the political aisle, whether it's for the state legislature, state senate, congressional seat, governorship, senate, you make deals. You want all the votes in this community. Let me tell you something. One thing about a community of this size, 44,000 people, let's assume that at least 15,000 of them are adults, somewhere in that neighborhood. Let's just say it's somewhere between, say, 12 and 15,000 adults. Do you think for one second that they don't know how to vote, that they're not all voting the same way? That's a very powerful voting bloc. And that is a very powerful negotiation that they put forth and say, you must give us what we want, and then we will all vote your way. That is what we do. And that is what happens here. That is one of the reasons that they're able to get away with this, aside from having the backing of all the pro-Israel Zionist organizations. They exercise their power. That's the reason why this guy can stand around in the middle of the day and not have to work and live off the rest. That's a reality.
How many people out here are on like welfare in the form of like housing assistance or Section 8 or EBT, SNAP, Medicare?
Yes.
And that allows you to study the Torah?
Yes.
And raise your kids?
Yes. Thank
and
you.
How many kids do most people have out here?
17, 18.
How do they afford 17, 18 kids?
They are proud to do what the Torah says, that you need to be multiple and fruitful.
Wow. And do you think there's welfare abuse in the community out here?
No.
No? Because they actually have the kids?
Yes.
They have the kids. Do they get tax credits for the kids?
What they get, but they are all doing to keep our Torah, yes.
Keep the Torah?
Yes.
And what are your thoughts on people out there who can barely afford to have one kid?
If they want, they can have one, but if God's given them more, it's very proud.
It is very dangerous to take the Bible or the Old Testament or the Talmud, which I am not sure which is which, but we are going to be having Rabbi Yaakov Shapiro return. He is a fervent anti-Zionist, and he is going to explain the Talmud to all of us. But as I've pointed out, if you do not have the separation of church and state, or in this case, synagogue and state, you get this shit. Now, in a country of 350 million, is this the biggest issue going? No. But it is a big issue, because they have a substantial control over a political and economic system. And that is why they're able to get away with this. But trust me when I tell you, I grew up not too far from Lakewood, New Jersey, about 30 minutes away. I know the community pretty well. Needless to say, it's the exact same thing. Now, there's not too many of them around the country, but you better believe that they have similar privileges and the ability to never actually have to go out and earn an honest day's pay. This is what they do. This is religious power in working in real time. Go and see if this exists in any Christian community or Muslim community or Buddhist community or Hindu community. I doubt it.
Okay, shout out God.
Yes.
Okay.
One thing, we are very against the state of Israel. It's a very big problem for us.
So you guys don't approve of a state of Israel before the Messiah comes, right?
Yes. Zionism is not Judaism.
But there is a very interesting take, because as Rabbi Yaakov Shapiro will also point out,
the state of Israel. It's a very big problem for us.
So you guys don't approve of a state of Israel before the Messiah comes, right?
Yes. Zionism is not Judaism.
Now, this is not the case with everybody in the community, as we have seen, just like you had a handful of them calling this guy Hamas. But the good news is that at least some people have some semblance. Now, their reasoning may be different than what our reasoning may be. So it is a conundrum, to say the least. And this is also something that I think paints the Jewish community in a very negative light, because not everybody's like this. But this particular community, like I said, a lot of money, a lot of influence, a lot of power. Now, are they going to get the same type of scrutiny that the entire conservative Inc. movement descended upon the Somali community in Minneapolis got? Of course not. No one's talking about this, but we are.
Judaism. It's a very other thing.
Question for you, sir. What do you do for work out here? Are you on the phone? Or are you listening to the radio? Okay. Damn. It's tough to get some answers out of folks. What do you do for work?
Nothing.
How do you make money?
My wife.
Your wife? What does she do for work?
What is this? What?
Interview. Good to meet you. For YouTube. So your wife works and you study the Torah?
Have a good day.
How many kids do you have?
Have a good day.
How many children do you have? Okay, thank you. Well, that was fascinating. Excuse me, do you study Torah?
Study then?
Torah?
No.
What do you do for work? Do you have a job? Does your wife work? Are you a student of the Torah?
Yes.
Do you work a job for money?
I?
Yeah.
No.
Does your wife?
Yes.
She does. Does your wife go to work to make money and you study Torah?
Where are you?
Tyler, good to meet you. I'm just doing a YouTube video about this place. I find it fascinating.
I don't have time. I have to.
But where are you going if you don't work?
I study.
So you study. And does your wife work? What industry does she work in? Teaching, education,
Teaching.
children? And how do you afford the kids if you don't work? Your wife? Okay, thank you. Sounds like a great setup. Damn. I might.
Okay, so if there's one thing a lot of people need to understand about this particular community and this particular form of Judaism, the abuse of women is very real. Jen, can you remind me of the lady that we had on the channel that had spoken? She spoke with us. She escaped this world. That's it. Okay. So if you guys want to go back into our archives and truly understand what this world is about, check out our interview with Dr. Sarah Glass. Now, there were many reasons that she left this life, but one of the main reasons is because she's a lesbian. And needless to say, if you want to talk about a community that shuns anything that's different, this is the community. And her book is Kissing Girls on Shabbat. Definitely check that out. There's also one other thing that I want to point out, which should be obvious to a lot of people here. Why do these people look the way that they do? They look this way because there's a lot of inbreeding. That's a very common practice in these communities. First cousins, very common practice. So understand the reason they look this way. It's not a mistake. It's not an accident. This is how they are. So if for anyone who is curious, and you know what ends up happening as a result? A lot of sickness, a lot of diseases, genetic defects, a lot of problems. But don't tell that to them. Religion is more important.
I have to get in on that. Excuse me, what do women work at here? What jobs do women work in here? Is it mostly childcare? Okay, cold shoulder. Do you work a job as well as raise the kids? Do the women raise the kids in? Okay, tough to talk to the women out here. How do people afford to have families? So like as you raise baby, do you also go to work at some point? What do you do for work? Do you study the Torah for a living? Do you study the Torah? Do you work a job? No? Does your wife work a job? Are you a student? Do you work? Are you a student? Man, I can't do this anymore. Question for you. Do you study Torah? Do you study the Torah? Excuse me, sir. Do you study the Torah? Hey! Oh, you speak on his behalf? How do you know that? Get on out of here. He said he doesn't want to give an interview. How would he know? Do they communicate telepathically via hive mind? Hi. Tyler, yes. How are you, my friend? How are you doing? Yes.
Wow.
How are you?
He's
You want to say hi?
independent journalist.
Yes.
Lucy, you want to say hi?
No.
Okay, how are you doing?
Hey, shit, this office.
Do you want to tell me a little bit about this place?
Sure, we go up here.
Okay.
It's a very nice place.
Yeah, and it's mostly Hasidic Jews?
Yes,
Okay.
it's only Hasidic Jews.
And it's
here.
one of the most biggest growing towns,
Big
right? By
growing
percentage?
town. It's the biggest in the
Big
United-
families, too.
Big families, right?
How do people afford to have such big families out here?
It's... I'm not saying anything.
What do you mean? How do they have such big families?
We believe in God, that
Believe in
God
God?
created us, that...
Okay. Hey, thanks for saying hi, my friend.
I don't know who you are.
My name's Tyler Oliveira.
I don't talk to a suspicious person.
How am I suspicious?
I don't know who you are.
Damn, ouch, that hurt my feelings. Do you study Torah? Or do you work a job or own business?
Everybody here works a job.
Well, that's not true. What's up?
They have Torah and they work.
That's not true. That's a lie. That's not true.
You are a suspicious person.
That's not true.
You're a suspicious person because you are exposing their grift, an actual grift. You see, in the Somali community, the people actually work. There are people that I am sure, like any community, there is a grifter or two, or three or 10, but this entire ideology, all of it, is a grift. If you want to do this in your spare time, practice whatever religion you want, but the state is paying for them to do this. And that's a lot of money. That is a lot of money. This isn't one or two people running a multi-million-dollar scam. This is a, dare I say, multi-billion-dollar scam that has been run for generations. But no one says anything. What could it be? Could it be the pro-Israel lobby? Maybe. But it's just coincidence.
I've talked to people, they said some of them just study the Torah. They told me themselves.
Well, some.
So who's the liar? Well, I understand that. That's what I'm trying to figure out.
I don't know who you are.
I'm just asking questions. How many children do you have?
You work for Hamas?
What? I'm journalist. I'm just exploring.
Do you work for Hamas? That's the concluding narrative. Do you work for Hamas? Hamas. Do you work for them? Because why else would you be here? Like I said, there are members of that community. It's a specific sect of the Hasidics that do not believe in the state of Israel today. They believe in it eventually when the Messiah returns, or appears for the first time, whatever it is that they believe. But this person kind of brings the entire message all together, doesn't it? You must be working for Hamas to expose our grift. Because why else would you be here? Now, kudos to Tyler Oliveira. Check out his work if you can. But I got to tell you, when I dug in a little deeper on this, I saw a response from a gentleman who, let's just say, if you thought those individuals that we just showed you were nauseating, this is even more pathetic.
Good Erev Shabbos! It's your boy Clappy over here. I want to talk to every resident of Kiryas Yael. I want to talk to every Jew in the world, every Hasidic Jew, every Frum Jew, every modern Orthodox Jew. We're all one. Do not be insulted by some Jew haters' BS about Kiryas Yael. They hate the Jews because they hate the Jews. It's the oldest hatred in the world. They hate us when we're rich. They hate us when we're poor. They hate us no matter what. If we defend ourselves after October 7th, they hate us. But when thousands of people are being brutally murdered in Iran, they don't say a peep.
So now it's Iran. It's actually Iran. That's how it's pronounced. And for this Shmuley knockoff, you know, they all look alike. You're not helping your cause. You're turning more people off to your ideology, which is great because that's what we want to see happen. We want to see your ideology completely collapse because that's what should happen. Yes, but they deserved it, Medio. Don't you understand? Because as that other heavy-set looking bearded fellow once said, hey, if I don't take this land, somebody else will. Hey, if I don't kill all of the Arabs, then they're going to kill us. So we have to do it.
Not a peep about all the people in Iran. I was on Fox and CNN today. I had to scroll for an hour to find an Iranian story. They love dead Jews, and they like talking about the Holocaust, but a living Jew they hate. How many minorities in America, all their kids go to public school for 40 grand a year, and they're dumb as doorknobs. They learn nothing. They don't know how to spell apple or pizza, okay?
Well, you certainly know a thing or two about pizza, probably not very much about apples, but I will say this. Anyone who apparently is paying $40,000 a year for public school, please enlighten me. Who is paying $40,000 a year for public school? I can assure you that anyone who is paying $40,000 a year for private school, private education, that's at the very top. You mean like the very rich that live in Brooklyn and Manhattan? Again, they live in very small bubbles. They don't really interact with people outside of their ideology or people that look any different than they do, which is why when they saw that man walking around, Tyler Oliveira, they reacted in such a defensive way. Why would they? They never see anybody come into town that isn't like them. They're immediately suspicious. You're Hamas. That's why you're here. I said that there is only so much we can do for the Palestinian people, but you know what we can do? We can dismantle the Zionist state in the United States. That we can do if we are a United States against the Zionist state. Thank you, Hamburger. I didn't know that.
The kids in American public schools learn nothing, costs the taxpayers trillions of dollars. The majority of non-Jews in
Trillions of dollars? Now it's trillions? Man, this guy's a real blowhard.
America are divorced. They're divorced. They're on welfare. People employ people at minimum wage in these big companies by the millions. They teach them how to get on every program. The Jews that are a fraction of a fraction of a fraction of a percent in this country, and of them, a fraction of a percent get programs, and they caught the Jews. Stop it. Don't even defend it. They hate us. The Jews in America built the hospitals. The Jews in America built the economy. The Jews in America don't even use the public schools. We go to private schools.
Okay. You didn't build shit. You paid for it, and you had somebody of a different culture and of a darker skin tone build it for you. You didn't build anything. Just keep it 100%. Just keep it 100%. We built it? No, you financed it, and somebody else built it. Shame on this bastard.
We save the government trillions. Stop defending ourselves. They hate us because they hate us. Keep your head held up high. Am Yisrael Chai. Ich hab sie alle in Bud.
I'm this girl high. I got something better for you. Get the fuck out of this country. If anybody should get the fuck out of the United States of America, it's people like him and everyone who supports his ideology. That's who should be getting out of this country. And you know what? We would all be better for it. So thank you, Tyler Oliveira, for exposing what will likely not be a viral moment, because again, stories like this are not supported by the corporate algorithm. They are supported by the real working class and revolutionary class of the United States. And I will say something else. That guy, he's scared. And he should be. He should be very scared. They've never had to fight to defend their ideology like this before, ever. And every day that passes, it becomes more and more obvious that they've lost control and they're never getting it back. And they don't know what to do because they know everybody hates them. And rightfully so. They've earned it. You know, there's a lot of people that are hated that didn't do anything to earn that hate. But the Zios, they've earned it.